Hey, good afternoon. This is Eric with American Business Systems. Wanted to welcome you here to our webinar the day after July the 4th. I don't know about you, but I felt like today has been Monday all over again. It has just been one of those days, and but we're here. It's a Wednesday afternoon, and we're here ready to kick this webinar off. This is going to be a fun one because what I've done here, I'm going to share with you some key webinars that I think that you probably ought to go back and review. So since this is sort of the mid term of the year, gosh, we've got, we're got 6 months into this year already. It's halfway through. I thought, man, what a better way for us to kind of just take a look at some of the webinars that we've gone through over the last couple of months, really. And because as I was preparing for today's webinar and I was looking at some of the past stuff that we've gone through and gone over, we've gone over some great material. Now, I'm excited also not only for today's webinar, but also for next week's webinar. We are actually interviewing someone we wanted to interview week before last, and that's Bob Wilkie. And Bob is one of our business owners here, and he's got an exciting story. You're going to not want to miss that for next Wednesday. Now, I'll share that again because there's some people still coming in to the webinar, but I wanted to make sure that some of you that might be here a little early and might need to leave a little early, certainly wanted to kind of give you that information. So that's going to be a great webinar for next week, and looking forward to having Bob on here with us. But today we're going to talk about kind of keeping the theme of why it is important being an independent business owner. Obviously, just yesterday, we celebrated the 4th of July, our independence from England, as we kind of know that, and a lot of great history there. And we thought we would just kind of keep that theme going since really this is American Business Systems. At one time, I recall that we used to have part of our icon logos had an eagle with it, and sometimes it had the Statue of Liberty. And really it's because Patrick has always been very liberty-minded and independent-minded. So I thought I'd kind of have that theme today and share it with you this afternoon. So again, I hope you had a great day yesterday for the 4th of July. I hope things went well over kind of the long week break, back to work on Monday, and then with July the 4th being yesterday, hope you had a great time. So we're going to jump right in here in just a few more minutes. I see that there's some more people still trying to log on, but it's good to see some of you that I've recognized from the past. So it's good to see Teresa and Luna and James and Arthur and Joshua. Majid, it's good to see you. And so, like I said, so there's some others that are just about to pop in here. Well, obviously, some of you that have been on here for us for some time, you know that I just want to make sure that I'm being heard since I'm kind of doing this by myself today. So just make sure that I'm being heard. If you don't mind popping in there and just sharing, hey, yep, can hear you loud and clear. I'm going to kind of turn my tint down there on my video there so it won't look so bright there. But yes, good to see you too, James and Majid. It's good to see you. And I know that there's some others that are on here, so thank you for just popping on there and just kind of telling me maybe where you're from. Again, my name's Eric Auger. I'll be your host today, and looking forward to kind of getting this through. I'm going to kind of zip through this part of it because, again, some of you that I recognize on here, you've been on here for some time, and so you probably already know the gig here. So we kind of just go over just a little bit of a brief history here about American Business Systems. I can say officially we are 6 months away from being 30 years old here. I can happily say that I've been here for more than half of that. So that's I feel pretty honored to be a part of the Phillips family and being a part of their success, and then obviously success with our licensees, our business owners here that I've come to know, and a lot of them have become really great friends over the 16 years that I've been around with ABS. And so Adam and I were talking just last week. We've been seeing not only his kids grow up, but he's seen my kids and now grandchildren grow up. So this really is a family type of business. And so we love each other, and we certainly are appreciative that we all get to work together. For those that are just brand new, you're looking into this, the whole American Business systems platform, which is obviously in medical billing, which we call revenue cycle management. We'll get into a little bit of that this afternoon. All has to do with collecting money for the doctor. Now, this is not just collections as people would think of it. This is not calling the little old lady who just went to go see the doctor and she hasn't paid her bill in the last 30 days. And you're going to send Julio over there to do anything to her. That's not what we're talking about here. This is actual medical claims billing. So this is all revenue cycle management. So this is when people do go to the doctor and they've seen your doctor and you've been there, you've gone to see the doctor, you give them your insurance information. They're going to process that claim. Someone either there in the office or they're going to outsource it. They've already outsourced it to somebody. So let me tell you this. I like I said, this is going to be a little different today. I feel like I can kind of free will this whole thing this afternoon. But remember, folks, that the doctor is already doing medical billing. Let's just make that clear. What you need to do, and what we're going to show you how to do, is share with the doctor that they're leaving money on the table, especially if they're doing billing in-house. That means they've got a staff member there at their office that's doing billing. And usually and typically, because that offices get so busy, then we see a lot of claims fall off the table. Some of them don't get billed at all. If there's a claim that does get billed and it gets rejected, we'll talk a little bit about what rejections are today. Sometimes those are never reprocessed or never what's called refiled. So that's really what this is all about, and we'll take a look at about that today. But not only are you getting that as a business package here at American Business Systems, it is a full package, which includes everything that you see at the top, which is virtual care, Audit Guard, and CodeWrite, which are both the coding assistance that you're going to need to get you some of those codes and claims out the door. So we've got a whole team of folks that can help you with coding. We've got Quick Collect, Choice Pay to help the doctors find some extra money that they thought they may never be able to get because, again, some people may not be able to afford it at the time. So we're going to help the doctor find that money. Then for those that are really adventurous and they want to go out, we've got our Dentamax platform, which is for dental billing. We've had a lot of people over the years that I've been around here who have wanted to possibly do some dental billing. And we have a full cloud-based dental billing platform. And apparently we've got some folks that have become very successful in that as well. Compliancy Guard is all about HIPAA compliancy. Folks, if you've ever been to the doctor and you see, you're at that counter there and you see other charts open, you might see a name there. I'm going to tell you, they've already got a HIPAA violation already. So these are products and services that you can provide to the doctor. They can be door openers, but they also can be ways of making extra income for you. So obviously, more than just iClaim and EMRX, we've got these other services, Credentials Now, and then Doctable. So there's a lot of different services that we had. And if you heard Adam last week, we're always looking to add more. So that's what's on tap for us for you today. Obviously, the beginners of this, the ones that started it all, was Patrick and Linda Phillips. Linda was really one of the first ones that actually started doing medical billing. And it was through there that Patrick saw that there was an opportunity because other people were asking he and Linda, hey, how is Linda staying home, homeschooling her kiddos, and making money? How is that happening? And they were able to share that. They found some success with it. And here we are 29, 30 years later. Now, Adam Phillips is the one that's running the company. He is the CEO of American Business Systems. He has followed in his dad's footsteps of kind of taking the helm of the ship here and shipping it well and going in the right direction. And he's also become a mighty great author of some articles that's out there and then some books that he has co-authored with Dr. Vicki Wagner. Now, one of the other parts of that I like to kind of spend a little bit more time on, because sometimes we get involved in these webinars and I never really get to take you to time of the importance of this organization called the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. The reason I want to kind of pause here just for a second here is for the fact that since ABS has been around for now 29 years, we've had a lot of people ask us, hey, can I use that ABS logo, the one with the kind of the little three circles that are in the blue and they're in that square? can I use that? Because it seems so recognizable. You guys have been around for so long. And so what we did, we helped with some a board of directors here create an organization called MIRMA. Now, MIRMA is out there. It's MIRMA.org. That stands for Medical Revenue Management Association of America. And it's that platform that has become now the recognizable part for our business owners. Because the last thing you would want to do is carry the ABS logo or anything about ABS. And as you're trying to market, and then the doctor goes out and Googles ABS or tries to figure out what this logo all stands for. And then to come find out that you may have just started a medical billing business opportunity, they may not be so ready to move forward. However, through MIRMA, if you're just getting started, obviously at that point, if the doctor says, well, how long have you been doing this? You can say, I'm now part of an organization that has been around for almost 30 years, and I'm just part of one of their network of medical billers that we just recently opened up here in the area. Much better story, and gives you much more credentialing or credibility in the marketplace. So because you want to show the doctor, hey, yeah, go to MIRMA. This is where I got my certification as well. So that's why MIRMA is so important. So again, go check that out. Learn some more about that from your business coach that you're working here with here. And then even next week, you can even talk to Bob to see, ask him maybe how important that might be and how he actually ended up getting some of his clients. So I'm going to erase some of these down here. So we've got some more people. See, some more people did show up, being the day after the holiday here. So I appreciate it. So if you just now joining us, what I thought I would do today is take just a few minutes and do what I call a mid-year review. Now, typically what I like to do is at the end of the year, I like to kind of go back through all of the webinars that we've done throughout the year. I usually kind of go through each month. I kind of pick out and highlight a couple of the webinars that we've done because they're so important. And sometimes I'll tell you to, hey, go back and watch those again, because obviously we pack so much into 1 hour that by the time that you get through with this whole hour, you may not remember everything you wanted to remember about. So what I'm going to show you today is real quickly, briefly, kind of just pulling the clock back over the last 6 weeks or so. I'm going to talk with you starting from last week, and I'm going to move myself backwards for a few months here and just remind you of the webinars that we've done and some of the things that we talked about. Then we're going to get into why it's important of being an independent business owner in the first place. First of all, for those that are on the webinar today and you missed last Wednesday's webinar with our CEO, Adam Phillips, and how and why ABS is a different model, you're going to want to go back and review that webinar. Adam's shared a lot of different information. I was able to ask him questions. We had a great class participation, if you want to say. Those that were actually on the webinar asked some great questions. So you're going to want to find out a little bit about Adam, how this whole business got started. So if you want to kind of hear a little bit of a history of the Phillips family and how they actually got started in medical billing, this is a webinar that you're going to want to go take a look at. Then I started looking back over a few webinars from there. I did one on how much can I make with a home-based medical billing business. Now, what I did during that webinar, if you might recall, is that I just took you down the path of just one doctor. What's it going to take and how much can you make with just one doctor? Because if I'm in your shoes, and I remember being there in your shoes at one time, of kind of going, I just want to know what to do on that first client. How do I get that first client there? Because at that point, I figure if I could get at least one, then I know that I could get at least a second. But I want to know how much I can make there. So again, typically, depending upon what kind of doctor, now remember, there are literally could be hundreds of different types of physicians out there. However, let's just kind of take the most recent or the most one that everybody knows of, which is called their PCP or their primary care physician. Those are your normal family doctors or internal doctors or internists or whatever they may be. But then you've got your specialties out there. Then you've got your cardiologist. Then you've got your nephrologist, which has to do with kidneys. And then you've got some urologists. that are out there, and you've got vascular surgeons, you've got other different types of surgeons. Then you've got the chiropractors. Yes, you can do business, you can do billing for chiropractors, maybe even for some physical therapists out there. Now, again, I kind of gave you a broad look at the difference. But so if we just took the PCPs in general, because that's kind of the middle of the road, obviously with cardiologists, you might make a little bit more. On the other spectrum, with a chiropractor, you may not make as much. You may do a lot of billing because they're going to see a lot of patients with a lower reimbursement versus a cardiologist where they may not see as many patients. However, their reimbursements are higher. Okay, so just depending on how we're balanced. Now, I would like to see you do a little bit of all. You know, you want to kind of have maybe some specialties, maybe even a chiropractor that you've kind of gotten to know a little bit, but then the middle of the road are going to be your primary care physicians. Now, your primary care physicians are going to see anywhere from 30, 35, maybe even as high as 40 patients a day. So that's going to be anywhere from 30 to 40 claims a day. And each of those claims are going to be reimbursed to the doctor anywhere from $100 to $150 per claim. Now, remember, you're going to be processing those claims and you're going to get a percentage of what you help that doctor get reimbursed. So let's say if you just took the average between 100 and 150, then you've got about 125. So if you took that 125 and you times it by, let's say, 30 per day, then you times it by 20 out of the month, and then you take that and multiply it by your percentage, let's just say maybe 7 to 8%, you're going to find out that you're going to be anywhere from 45,000 to maybe up even as high as 65,000, depending upon really on that reimbursement. But that's typically what you can make with one doctor. Now, I kind of gave you a quick nutshell of how much you can make with just one doctor. But there, you're going to want to know, hey, how can I make sure that I do it and do it correctly? Well, I spent an entire webinar a few weeks ago on how much medical billing training is required to be successful. Now, this one, I probably did the most in-depth webinar that we've ever done on our training. Now, if there is a webinar that I would suggest everybody to go back and see, it's this one. You need to go back and see this one. Obviously, it's fun to kind of know how much money that you can make. But what I want you to know is that you can learn medical billing and get this done. And not only can you learn it, but learn it to the point where you can go get a client. That's the important part about it. So if you hear anything that I have to say today on today's webinar, past webinars we're going to do in the future, it's always, how can I help you get that first doctor, get you successful, and get you paid? Because I want you to be independent, just like what we're talking about today. Then for those who may have missed the live interview that we did with Dr. Vicki Rackner, we entitled this one, Do Doctors Actually Outsource Their Billing? And Dr. Rackner does explain that. Because a lot of you still have questions. Why would a doctor outsource their billing? Well, this is a good webinar for you to go back. Then we did one. I got two more I want to share with you. We're going to go right into the meat of this. But then I want to remind you that we did pro tips, launch your medical billing business right. Now, you can go out there and go start your own medical billing business without American Business Systems. You're going to need to go develop your own website. You're going to need to go develop all of your own marketing material. You're going to have to go get some training somewhere. So you're going to have to go probably pay for that somewhere. Then the support, that you're going to be on support by yourself and on your own. So I'm not disparaging that you can't do that, but you can do that. And there have been a lot of people who have been very successful at doing that. Not as many has been successful here since they started with us here at American Business System. So go back and watch that one. The last one that I want you to know that's there is, can you start your own billing business with no experience? A lot of you are not coming back from the medical field. You are probably coming maybe out of an accountant. You may be we've had teachers, we've had construction workers, we've had people who drive trucks for a living. We've had people that have come from banking, mortgage. We've had a lot of people come from maybe like the financial world. We've had some that have had a good, maybe a medical billing or medical background, not necessarily in billing. But we want to show you and prove to you through the webinars and also through some of the other things that we have out there that you can start a medical billing business without the experience of being in medical billing. So what I've been able to do is kind of give you a quick nutshell of about at least 5 or 6 different webinars that I would highly encourage you to go back and watch, because if you can see here, we pack a lot of information in these webinars. Now today is another one. We want to talk to you, just think that we're having coffee somewhere. This is one of those type of webinars where I'm not going to rush through anything today. We're just sitting back. You're asking for some advice from somebody that you just go, hey, why is this business important? Why should I be an independent business owner in the first place? And we're just having a cup of coffee. We're just kind of going over it. To me, the first thing that I would think about, what you need to be thinking of is why is it important to you? One of the things I think it should be important to you is just the freedom of being of your own boss. That's just, let that kind of sink in for a little bit. Some of you have been working for someone all of your life. That's all you've ever known. And you've dreamt about having your own business and starting your own business and having the freedom to go to the dentist when you want to, go to your own doctor when you want to, maybe spend a little time with your children or family, maybe even some of you are a little older, maybe a little bit of time with your grandchildren. But you want to have the freedom to be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. You set your own schedule. And that's why it's important for, at least, folks, if you let's just kind of take the whole thought of the independence of America here. What was one of the reasons why we broke away from Great Britain as we did? Because we wanted our own freedoms. We wanted to do things a different way, but we wanted to do them our way. And that's the whole part. That's the whole thing about you. That's why it's important. Maybe this is one of those things where you find it's important for you to have that freedom to be able to kind of do what you want to do when you want to do it. Now, it's going to take some, your own tenacity to go out and do what you've got to go do. And I'm going to share with you about 3 things that you're going to need to make sure that you get started off here on the right foot. But just think about the freedom you could have if you were working for yourself. Let's just say that you had 2 doctors. Well, 2 doctors are going to generate you, remember, probably anywhere from, let's just say, the low 80s, $80,000 a year, up to maybe $120,000 a year. Now, 2 doctors may be all that you need to provide you the freedom. Now, billing for 2 doctors shouldn't take you any more than about 4 hours a day. Well, that shows you that you've got the freedom. Now you got the freedom to go out and maybe network with some more people. Join that Chamber of Commerce. Go to ribbon cuttings. Go to luncheons that you've always wanted to go do. Spend some time and plan your vacations and do these things that you've always wanted to go do. Now, you can see up here, I'm not putting up yachts or fancy cars or a big, large house. I'm just saying, just be free from the house that you're working from right now. Driving the same vehicles that you're driving today. But what more can you have than the time that, to me, is the most fleeting thing that any of us have. And now that kind of gives you back the freedom to be able to do the things that you might want to be able to do the most. That's why I think, and the rest of us here at American Business Systems believe it's important for you being an independent business owner. So I may not be sharing anything new to you about this today, but this is some of the part that, again, it's just like we're having coffee at the coffee shop this afternoon. We're just having a fireside chat, so to say, today. The other thing is that you're going to find yourself that you're in control. Again, you get to make your schedule, and you might want to be able to get up a little bit later than normal and work later in the afternoon or even into the evening. You may prefer to get up early in the morning, get all your work done in the mornings, and then have the freedom to go do what you want to go do in the afternoon. Remember, you're in control. You're not being told by someone else when you need to start. Now, as an entrepreneur, listen, to me, it's always the early bird gets the worm. That's all that's always been said. And so that's what you want to be able to do. Get started early, get your day done, and be able to start winding things down by 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And now you got the rest of the day to go do what you want to do, or double up on one day and then take a day where you can go do the other things. But remember, you're in control. You're the one setting your schedule. That's the part that's, I think, is a very important aspect of being a business owner by yourself. Again, but one of the great things, I think this is one of the, over the years, being around Patrick has said a lot of quotes that I like to kind of share back. But I remember him telling me whenever I first joined with him, he says, Eric, I want you to come over here and build a business with inside of my business. I kind of let that sink in just for a moment. He said, come in over here, build a business inside my business. And he's given me that opportunity. And he's given you that opportunity because the business is already established. We're here to help you build your business with inside of our business. We have the model, we have the technology, we have the technology partners that are here for you. You don't have to go recreate that wheel, which gives you the freedom to go out there. And again, that gives you the freedom to be in control. Nobody here at American Business Systems is telling you how to run your business. That's why it's a business opportunity and not a franchise. You know, like franchises, they're going to tell you, oh, you can only market in these certain areas. But with us here at American Business Systems, if you want to market in Timbuktu, some of you may live there, but if you want to market there, you can. Nobody's telling you you can't market outside of your zip code or your state, or you can only do a certain group of certain doctors or anything. You're able to be in control and do it yourself. The other thing here is the financial independence. And I think that's probably what drives everybody that's on this webinar today, is that financial independence. What is that number? That's a question that only you can answer. Now, again, you may do a little part-time work, doing something else and getting this business going. You can certainly do that. You may have enough capital to just go out there and just go, hey, I'm going to work for myself and I'm going to fund myself until I get this up and it starts churning itself. There's several different ways in which you can reach this particular goal of financial independence. We've seen a lot of our business owners do that. Some have done it very quickly. Some have taken a little bit longer, depending upon their circumstances. Folks, everybody has the circumstances out there. We all have them. And that's one of the things that you'll find here with us at American Business Systems. We're not gonna put a brand new shiny penny out there and have you marvel over it. Folks, we have life. You have things that come up. Sometimes we've had some folks that have joined us here at American Business Systems and they've had to put it on the shelf for a little bit. Then they've come back. We've got them back through training, and then we get them going, and then they become very successful. We've had some people blow it right out of the water from the day. We've had people come into training already with a client. So this is the spectrum that we have here at American Business Systems. It really is all over the board. But if you put your will to it, because that's what it's going to take here, and you're going to hear me say that here in just a little bit. But if you put your effort into it, you're going to end up finding a doctor that needs the help. And then, so folks, that's what's going to help you lead you to financial independence, because you're helping another doctor do the same thing. And that's one of the other aspects of it. To me, one of the best things is the tax advantages that are out there. There are so many tax advantages for being able to work for yourself. You can write off practically just about everything that you do legally. Now, I'm not saying anything shady here. I'm not saying you're going to get to do anything like Al Capone did or anything like that, but it's going to give you certain advantages for your taxes. And so you get to keep a little bit more in your pocket because you're not having to spend so much on your taxes that's going to go out the door anyway. So you might as well spend that upon yourself and keep some of that money within the house instead of always giving it over to your tax attorneys or the government are here. There are good tax advantages for you to have your own business. You can write off just about everything, a little bit of part of your house if you're working from that. Obviously, when you go out and make your calls or do whatever else you're going to do there, you can write off part of your businesses. There's so many things that can be done. Now, I will disclaimer here, I'm not a CPA, I'm not an accountant, and I'm not an attorney. So don't take any advice from me. but I can tell you that there are some great tax advantages out there for those that are independent business owners. That's why people get into it, because they can write off some of this stuff and have the deductibles there. So that's another one. Flexible working. I've already mentioned that to a part of you having a flexible working schedule. If you're anything like me, I like a little bit of flexibility in my schedule, because sometimes I want to take off a little bit earlier. Sometimes I want to work a little bit later. Sometimes I might even do some work over the weekend. It doesn't keep me from doing that, to know that I might get caught up or kind of get ahead for the next week, because I want to take a couple of extra days off in the next week. I can have the time of vacation that I want to be able to do. So it gives me the flexible working hours that I want. And then finally, you get to work from home. For those that don't like the commutes all the time, this is a great opportunity for you to work from home. I know that this is all the whole reason that you might be looking to get into any type of business, because you do want to work from home. And so take the advantage of doing that. These are the advantages. Everything I've shared for you so far is flexibility, the freedom, being able to work from home, your tax advantages. I mean, I could list so many out there, but again, I want to kind of drive it to the point where I'm going to ask you this next question. This is the question I'm asking every one of you. Now, some of you have been on these webinars for a long time. And my question is to you, you're at the starting gate. You're at that starting point. How will you know if you are ready to start working for yourself? See, that's a question that ABS cannot answer for you. There's no franchise out there that can answer that question for you. So what we want to kind of I want to take 3 major areas, how to know if you are ready to start working for yourself. There are a lot of people who fail to even start. There's probably a lot of you on this webinar today that's just hesitating just a tad to get your business started. Now, I don't say that because we're going to go up on price. I'm not trying to arm twist you here. I'm just telling you that I know I've been there. I've been at the start gate, and I wanted to get going, but I never did. Let me just kind of share with you a personal story about me. And at the end of last year, I've got a really good friend. I go have coffee with him. He and I bounce stuff off each other all the time. He's an ex-Marine. I appreciate all of our military forces that have helped us be where we are today. He knew that at one point that I used to work out quite a bit. And I had a back surgery a few years ago, and I had some other issues that came up, and it just kept me from really kind of get started all over again. But guess what? My friend Gary said to me, "Hey, Eric, I want to really encourage you to start getting going again." He says, "I want you to work up to running 2 miles a day." Well, that's all it took for me, for someone to say, "I want to encourage you to go do this." Now, I didn't think I could go run 2 miles the first day that I wanted to go out there and do that, but I actually did. I ran slowly, not like a sprinter out there, but I remember that first day. And it took me almost 27 minutes, almost 30 minutes to get in a 2 mile, really at that time, just a little over walking very fast, basically at that point. And that was at the end of last year. As of today, because of the encouragement there, someone helped push me over the edge to get started. Now I'm running 2 miles a day at 20 minutes a mile. 20 minutes, almost 10 minutes a mile. At my age, it's pretty doggone good. I'm pretty proud of myself for that. But what it took was someone to encourage me to get off the starting line. That's what it took. So I've kind of used that as how to know if you're ready to start working for yourself. Here's one, and I pulled this quote. First of all, you have to find out if you're going to be focused and committed. That's it. So Daniel Cormier says this: work ethic, confidence, a laser focus, and commitment to accomplish a goal that most people can never imagine. Now, that's why you're here today. That's why you've been attending these webinars for maybe as long as you have. Now, I know that there could be other circumstances that may be hindering you from getting started, but really, this is what it's going to take for you. And I'm encouraging you. Again, I'm just here as your friend today, having that coffee with you this afternoon, just kind of saying, okay, so tell me, whatever your name may be out there, just kind of tell me what's going on. And I'm going to ask you the question: do you feel that you can focus and can you commit to accomplishing a goal that most people would never imagine accomplishing? That's what it's going to have to take. That's what it took for Patrick. That's why you've heard him say, you may have heard Adam say, you may have heard me say this, that really all entrepreneurs are serial entrepreneurs. Why is that? Because they've never given up. They've hit the ground. They've kind of gone down. They've gone away, and so they just didn't remain focused and committed to what they needed to happen. That's one of the things that everybody on this call needs to know today. Are you focused, and can you be committed on getting something accomplished that most people would never imagine to do? I mean, just think about how electricity got here, how the telephone got here, how we communicate today. It's how you can talk and take a phone call with a watch, because someone remained focused and committed to what they say. You know what? Somebody says, somebody told me that can't happen, and that's what it's going to have to take. That's the fire in your belly that's going to get you to do. Number two, you understand failure is not an option. Seth Godin said, if failure is not an option, then neither is success. And you got to let that kind of sink in for a moment. If failure is not an option, then neither is success, which means that you're going to be working hard at what you're going to be doing. As I was kind of looking for quotes for today and putting it in our webinar, it reminded me, if anybody saw the movie Apollo 13, y'all remember that, where we here in America we had those 3 astronauts that went up in space, and something happened. And the guy that was running the head of NASA at that time and running the control part of it at that point said, we've never lost an astronaut, and we're not going to do that now. So failure is not an option. We're going to get those men home. That's the tenacity that you need to find yourself with. A lot of you have asked, will this work? Can I get a client? How quickly can I get a client? You've been asking us these questions. I'm turning the tables on you this day. I'm asking you, are you going to fail because you didn't even try? That's what the question needs to ask you. Sometimes you need a good friend to say, okay, hey, let's just get off the couch here. Either you're going to cut bait or fish, kind of something like that. You need to do something. And if you're not going to do it, then move on and go do something else. However, we feel like we've got the best option for you, which leads me to the last thing that I want to share with you before I kind of start wrapping some things up. You have to have a viable product to market solution. Daniel Handler says every problem has a solution. Sometimes it just takes a long time to find the solution, even if it's right in front of your nose. I couldn't have picked a better quote than this one. Because we feel here at American Business Systems, we have the right solution for the problems that doctors are facing. And sometimes it's taken a long time for you to really discover and find out what the real solution is, not just for you. I think that's probably the biggest problem why a lot of people don't move forward, is that they're trying to figure out, is this the right solution for me? That's a great thing to think about, but I need for you to really broaden the scope of what you're thinking about here. I need for you to broaden it to the point where, is this the right solution for my community? What do I mean by that? Imagine that you've got a practicing physician in your area. A lot of people are going to that one particular doctor. And there are people that are still sick, and the people still go to him or her, whoever it may be. And you never know what that doctor's really going through. You really never know if they're really having some challenges. But if you could go fix that doctor and get a cash flow going back for them where they're supposed to be, how much better a doctor that doctor will become, which will produce a better healthcare system within your community. You see, a lot of times we're looking at business opportunities or franchises only for the fact of what is it in for me instead of what is it going to be in it for everybody else. And that's where you're going to find your success. That's how Patrick found success here with American Business Systems. He says, in one of a quotation that I heard from Patrick, he says, if I can help others find what they need to do, then I become successful in their success. And that's what we're here for. That's the motto of American Business Systems. We're not here just because we've become successful and we just want to add another business owner to our lineup here at American Business Systems. We're here because we have become successful. We've had other people become successful. And because of that, we want to pay it forward to you. But we want to pay it forward to you because we know that there's a lot of doctors out there that are hurting. And that's a great way to know why is it important to be an independent business owner? Because you're helping other people. Not just because you're helping yourself, but you see yourself as something is setting your, here's a word that I've recently listening to a podcast here recently. And that is, what kind of legacy are you going to leave for yourself? Folks, not all of us are going to live to be 100 years old or longer than that. What legacy are you going to leave? And to me, what Patrick has done, he's left a legacy, and leaving this legacy, not only for his children and his grandchildren, but for the people that have become part of the American Business Systems family. And so what kind of a legacy are you going to have? What kind of story are people going to talk with you for you about as you kind of move through life? And so you got to find out that, again, that it's greater than just what it's in it for you. That's what I'm trying to share. So what it said there, let me kind of go back there at that last part. Even if sometimes it takes a long time to find the solution, which could be a business opportunity, even if it's right in front of your nose. And that's the way many of you have been here. You've been here, and I'm not going to go through a lot of what we've done here or going through here. We've shared that on so many webinars. That's why I wanted to kind of just have this kneecap talk with you today, to talk with you about what it means to be important for you to be your own business owner, because hopefully you're catching the vision that it is greater than just you. It's how you serve others, work with others. How can I help someone get a little bit further than where I am today? And that's what we think of as the best, because we know this. This is the thing that we know. Doctors are in pain. And if ABS has the plan that leads to success, we know that we can help the doctors discover their pain and solve it. Remember, that's the whole reason you go to a doctor, because you have an ache here, you got a pain here, you got a scratch here, you've got high blood pressure, you've got something that you want solved. But why are doctors out there? Why do doctors not have a marketing campaign most of the time? Now, they should, but why? Because they know that people are going to come to them because they've got a problem. And that's what we're here to help you understand, is that we've got the products to market that we can take to. Because, again, we already know, based upon information that we're getting from doctors already, which Dr. Vicki Rachner wrote her book upon, The Myth of the Rich Doctor. We all think that doctors are rich and that they don't have any financial problems. But really, you can see there at the bottom of her subtitle, Doctor, what is the state of your financial health? Well, she opens up in the book, physicians in private practice walk away from about an average of 30% of their income. Who wants to do that? And a solution, outsourcing, could bring these claim rejections as low as 2 to 5%. This may be the fastest and easiest way to increase your cash flow. Not to see more patients, not to get more staff, not to get a bigger building or anything else, but just get what's already there paid. That's the part of it. In the book of The New Thriving Medical Practice, which again, this can be part of your marketing, and you're going to highlight this on page 89, rejections have held steady at about 30% industry-wide. You can even see down there at the bottom that one practice out of California had a total of 71% error rate in a single year. This caused an estimated loss to the practice of $185,000 a year. Do the doctors have pain? You better believe they do. That's why this business is the way that it is. Folks, we're not selling a business opportunity because we've got the best medical billing platform, although that we do. We're here because we know that there's a problem out there, and ABS has a proven product to market solution. But again, it's like I said, it's kind of right under our noses. Remember, we're going to show and understand what revenue cycle management is all about. We are going to teach you every step of the way. That's why you don't have to have a background in medical billing. You don't even have to have a background in medicine at all, in healthcare at all. We're going to teach you because you already know that there's a problem. That's one of the reasons why you're here. I'm just trying to help. Again, bring your focus or your vision a little bit higher on the horizon. See a little bit further down the road. Am I going to have to learn how to process claims? Yes. Am I going to have to learn how to get a doctor as a client? Yes. We're going to teach you and help you, and we're going to instruct you in all those ways. And we're going to also provide you the best services that are out there on the market. The iClaim, the EMRX, what's, again, if you haven't seen a demo of the system, I encourage you to go do that, because we have these products, these solutions that are going to help the doctors. Clear point of success is right before COVID, and right when the pandemic was just coming out and breaking out. There were a lot of doctors scrambling to try to figure out how they could see their patients via some type of online system, whether it was Zoom, FaceTime, or whatever. Our system already had a patient portal that gave the doctors access to have what's called a telemed visit. I remember early on, even before COVID even came out, that there were a lot of services out there that were promoting some type of telemed service, and getting that to the doctors, telling them that, hey, not only can you see your patients in-house, but you can see your patients via the internet now. It's legal, it's HIPAA compliant. We show you how to do it. And you know what really the problem about that was? Doctors went, I really don't need that, until a pandemic broke out, because nobody was coming to the doctor's office. That put that pain there in that doctor. Now having a solution that had a telemedicine inside of their practice management system and their EMR system was vital at that point. That was how the doctors were going to survive. And that's how some of our business owners here at American Business Systems actually got more doctors during the pandemic, because we had the platform, we had it right, we had it all there through iClaim. And remember, I mentioned earlier about the new thriving medical practices, like a lot of the common rejections for rejections are human error. It's the whole process of typing information in there. And so we have a solution for that again, we can help guide you through in understanding what it's going to take to get this information in front of the doctors and show them that, hey, I can show you, doctor, instead of someone in your office typing in this information to register a new patient. This is not doing billing. So listen closely to me. This is not doing billing. This is simply putting in patient data. Because if you start wrong, you're not going to get paid, which means if you don't put the patient's information in the system correctly, you're not going to get these things paid. So we're going to show the doctor how to register a new patient. We're going to show them how to check insurance eligibility online before they even see the doctor, to make sure that the insurance card that that patient has actually is valid. This is so important. This is pre-medical billing. This is what we do here to show these doctors that, yes, you have the right solution. Because we know that you have a pain, and the pain is probably because someone's typing in the patient's information inside your system incorrectly. Now, we're going to show you, doctor, how we're going to not only remedy that, but we're going to show you how we're going to check insurance eligibility first, not after we got the patient data in there. we're going to make sure that those patients actually have insurance coverage. So we're going to show the doctor online. Remember, this is a service that we provide you to show. This is how we do it, doctor. So if the patient walks in, let's say they got United Healthcare, we're going to put in their subscriber ID and their date of birth. We're going to put all that in there. We're going to click a button that says submit. We're going to get then this information back on here. It's going to populate the patient's name. It's going to show the patient's membership ID, maybe even including the PCP, maybe even all the care, the copay that's there, when their effective date was. And then from there, you can see this button right there. You see that one right there, doctor, where it says create chart. We're going to click on that button that says create chart. And then voila, all of that information from the insurance company now gets populated directly into our system. Guess what we've just done? We've eliminated human error that would cause most claims to get rejected. I can't tell you how many personal demos I've done for our business owners throughout my tenure here at American Business Systems. And before I could get through this part of the demonstration, the doctor was already asking me, or the better yet, the office manager was already asking me, gosh, can you show this to me again? And how important that part of it is. So this is why, again, it's important to be part of American Business Systems, because we're going to help you become an independent business owner already. Then we've got all the products to market that you already have, we've already seen. I've already shared all of this with you. We've got all of the marketing materials. We've got all of the business tools that we have here. Folks, for those of you who have been on our past webinars, you know that we've got not only the business tools with all of the other things that you're going to need, but the support that you're going to need, both online and live with our head of our training department, which is Tim Warren. You can see him over to the left, and he's got a myriad of other business owners who have become successful to be your business coach here at American Business Systems. You may end up with a doctor that is a cardiologist or a podiatrist or whatever, a urologist, and you've never done any type of billing, but these folks have. They know how to do it. They know how to help you and get you the right codes for that particular doctor, because not all doctors use all the codes. There's, if you go to a PCP, there's only going to be about, I don't know, 15, 20, maybe 30 types of codes that doctor might use versus what a cardiologist may use, which are going to be different from what a PCP uses. And we have all that built into our system. And I just shared with you a moment ago as well, is that we're going to do these demos for you via Zoom. We're going to have your doctor on here. And how do I know that? I helped start this whole program of getting the demos going. Folks, this is what we were doing, and this is where we find success is, hey, not only can we do a demo for you, but why not we do these demos for our business owners here at American Business Systems? This is where it wins. This is where we help you get that first doctor. Then again, if you're worried or concerned about any of the proposals or contracts, all of that's been written. It's all there for you. So remember this quote that I mentioned way earlier on. Every problem has a solution. Sometimes it takes just a long time to find the solution, even if it's right under your nose. That's the way we feel here at American Business Systems, is that we feel like we have it. And sometimes it seems like sometimes we get so deep in our due diligence on any business opportunities that sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees, because we're so at the granular level of getting every I dotted and every T crossed, that sometimes we just fail to go, let's get our heads up a little bit again and kind of see what we're trying to do. And then lastly, you've already known about MIRMA. And this is important. That's why I spent a little bit of time early on the webinar to kind of paint that picture for you, to kind of get you to understand how important this part of it is. Now, we got about 5 more minutes. And before I kind of go into my last little stint here, I want to make sure that if there's any questions, that you don't leave today's webinar without me helping you answer your question. I'm here to help answer any questions. Again, either I was just boring, if the webinar was boring today, or it was some new information or just some new thoughts to be thinking about that, gosh, this is some things I haven't really thought about in my pursuit or my due diligence as I'm trying to think through why is it important for me to be an independent business owner. You can see today we didn't really try to sell you on anything except for the fact that we feel like we do have that right solution, at least for the doctors. What I'm asking you, is it the right business vehicle for you to do? That's what it gets down to. So if there's any questions here, I see that we've got some folks that are still on here. If there's any particular questions, I'm here to help answer some of those questions. If not, I'm going to kind of put my last minute, wrap up on everything. And so if you feel like this was good information, kind of give me some feedback. Tell me that either this was, yes, it was good, or, you kind of just kind of drug it along today, or whatever it might be. Listen, I'm always good for either one. I'm good for any type of feedback on anything. But for those that may need to be popping off here pretty soon, we do have a 30-day money-back guarantee. For some of you, this is brand new, so let me kind of share with you how this works. Once you have come into American Business Systems, you've signed your agreement here with us, and you have paid your investment here at American Business Systems, you now have 30 days to still evaluate to see whether this is the right business for you. There is no better guarantee that you can find out there in the market today other than the one I'm just sharing with you. I don't think there's another business opportunity. I don't think there's another franchise out there that will give you this type of information about, hey, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So let me make sure that you understand that. Once you have paid, then you can get everything bit that you can get back of it. James says it was a little bit of everything. That was good in my book. Okay, good. I appreciate that, James. I appreciate it. So let me kind of share with you some of your last steps. For those, again, that have not done this, go out there and download your research guide. This looks kind of like this. How you get that is just go back to your business coach that you're working with there, or your rep here at American Business System, and say, send me the link for the research guide. They will get that to you. There's more information that's packed in there, so you're going to want to do that. Also, go browse our YouTube channel. Now, that's where I kind of spent a little bit of my time this afternoon for you to go back and watch some previous webinars. You've got some time this weekend, go do that and go check that out. You can go do that. Talk with some references. You're going to want to talk with some of those people that would be your coach, to be what you need to be able to be here for American Business Systems. So you're going to want to go do that. They're the ones that are going to talk with you and have that information kind of going back and forth with you. Then set up a demo, a live demo of our website. I mean, not of our website, but of the platform of iClaim and EMRX. If you haven't done that, get that done. That is going to be one-on-one with you, with your business coach here. It's going to be the same type of demo that we're going to give your doctor once you've got a doctor ready to move forward. Then once you've got all that done, download your purchase agreement that's sent to you as a link. I think Adam told me that it's up to 5 pages, but it's certainly not as big as a franchise package as you would see there on all those things. And then finally get your funding in. And then folks, as Adam mentioned to me last week, typically what we're seeing is once you got all of your funding done, your agreements all done, it's usually that next week that we're actually getting you started in your training. Now remember, those modules are 10 modules long. They're about 90 minutes a piece, so that you know that you can probably get through all of those 10 modules within at least 10 days to 2 weeks, giving you another 2 full weeks to really try to figure out if this is the right business for you. So don't miss out on taking advantage. If you feel like this is not the right business for you, obviously you can ask for your money back. So give us a call here at 866-565-8413, or shoot us an email at info@absystems.com. I hope today has been helpful for you to understand why it might be important for you to be an independent business owner. I've kind of shared what my thoughts were. Again, this was more kind of like a fire chat side chat type of webinar. But we won't be like that next week. Next week, we are interviewing one of our business owners that is going to be one of those folks that you can talk with on that reference list, Bob Wilkie. Bob is excited to be here. Like I said, we had him booked a few weeks ago, but he had a couple of things that had come up. He says, hey, I can do it on July the 12th, which is a week from today. And you're not going to want to miss next Wednesday's webinar. For all of those that stuck with me this afternoon, thank you for doing that. Again, I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July Tuesday. Here it is midweek already. You only have 2 more days of work here for your job, Thursday and Friday. And then you got another weekend ahead of you. So I hope that you have a great week, end of your week, great weekend. And I'll see you next Wednesday as we interview Mr. Bob Wilkie. Y'all have a good night. Have a great weekend, everybody. Good night, everybody.